today's episode of Cooking with Tovia, I'm going to show you guys how to make a super easy and delicious mango glazed meatloaf. You'll be able to find all the ingredients you need for today's recipe in the description box. Congratulations CB, you are the winner of the Grill He Ate giveaway. Please contact me by email. You'll be able to find that information in the description box and send me your address so that way I can go ahead and have the item sent to you. So let's go ahead and begin with today's demo. So here I've already started sauteing my onions. I sliced them in half moons and I sliced them thin. If you want to dice them, you can, but I sort of like the texture of the onion and the meatloaf, and you'll see why in the end. So this has been sauteing for about 1 minute in some olive oil. And just a reminder, you can find the ingredients in the description box. And I have here just half a green bell pepper. If you want to use red, orange, yellow, you can. If you want to use Cubanelle peppers, you can. And Cubanelle peppers they're light green, they're long, they kind of look like a bell pepper, but they're longer, and they're sweeter than a regular bell pepper. They're not spicy. So we're gonna let these veggies just saute for about another 2 minutes. I'm gonna just soften the bell pepper. So I have my eggs here, and using the tines of a fork, I'm going to just beat the eggs. These eggs are important. It's going to get the meatloaf body and moistness. And I have here ground beef, and I'm using 80-20. I have my ground beef here, and I'm using 80-20 ground beef. You can use any type, but the leaner the better. But I just wanted mine to be 80% lean, so that way we can have some fat content. And I'm going to just turn my heat off over here. Let's see. I just turn off my heat with my veggies. So I'm going to pour my egg over, and I'm going to pour over my garlic powder and onion powder, and then I have my salt, pepper, and oregano, and Worcestershire sauce, and then I have some hot sauce, and I'm using Crystal's hot sauce, in case you're wondering. Then I'm going to just begin by just using clean hands to break the ground beef apart and work some of the egg in. And once some of the egg is starting to sort of combine with it all, so I'm going to just pour over my breadcrumbs. So I'm just going to mix this until it's thoroughly combined, but I don't want to overwork it because it can cause the meatloaf to become tough. Then I'm going to take my veggies that we cooked. I'm going to pour that into the meatloaf. And believe me, these cooked veggies is going to give this meatloaf a whole new depth of flavor. And I'm going to just use my wooden spoon to just mix everything together. In the cold or this room temperature, ground beef is going to chill the veggies a bit, and then we can finish forming this with our hands so we don't burn our hands. So I'm just folding everything together. And now what I'm going to do is just mix all those veggies right through this meatloaf. Okay, so after thoroughly combining this, I have a loaf pan and some parchment paper here. And I'm going to just pour my meatloaf right into the middle. And when you press the meatloaf into the pan, it's going to automatically sort of press that parchment paper into the pans as well. So spread it where it's covering. And smooth it out like I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to just trim off all this excess parchment paper. Now I'm going to cover this with foil. Now, place the shiny side down so it doesn't stick to the side of the foil facing up. Just going to go in the preheated 350-degree oven for about 1 hour and 20 minutes. We want to allow the internal temp to get to about 150 degrees minimum. So afterwards we're going to glaze it. So I have my mangoes here that I've already peeled, and I cut them up. I'm just going to add it to my ghee chef food processor. And then to this, I'm just going to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Get right so it's smooth. Let's get it as smooth as you can. Now to make the glaze is very easy. I'm going to just put my pan here on high heat. And then I'm going to take my mango puree. It's going to give it a nice texture. Oh, this mango smells so good. Very fragrant. So I just got this on medium-high heat because the only thing we're doing here, we're just heating it just to dissolve the sugar. Gonna add a little bit of ketchup. Then I'm gonna add some sugar. Just a little bit of sugar. And then I'm gonna add some molasses. If you don't want to use sugar and molasses, you can use brown sugar. And the reason why I'm using sugar and molasses and I didn't use brown sugar is because they are basically the same thing. To make brown sugar, it's just sugar and molasses, and I have a video demonstration on that. So just whisking this just till everything dissolves. And the only thing I'm going to add to this is just some crushed red pepper. Just depending on how spicy you like it, at about a teaspoon. Take it off here. Just pour it into a container here on the side. So here is our meatloaf. It's been in the oven for exactly 1 hour because I want to take the temp and find out where it's at. Okay, so I have my instant read thermometer here. And for more information about this particular thermometer, please check the description box. It works very well. I've used it several times now, and it's pretty amazing. Okay, so we're at about 130 degrees. So initial time I'm going to give you guys is 1 hour and 25 minutes. So I'm going to stick this back in the oven, and I'm going to let this go for another 30 minutes because I've opened the oven and removed it, and the oven has to heat back up properly. I just took the meatloaf out the oven and it's at 170. So I'm going to drain all this fat out the pan, and then we're going to glaze it. Now I'm going to put some of my glaze over it, and see, it thickens up when it chills. So I'm not going to use all the glaze. I'm just going to spread some of it on there, half of that glaze on there. And then I got my oven on broil. So I'm going to stick this in the oven, and I'm going to let this broil for 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, and then we're going to put the rest of the glaze on there. So after boiling it for 3 minutes, I reglazed it, and I put it back in the oven for another 3 minutes. And I forgot to tell you guys to wet the parchment paper, because at a high temperature broil it will burn, but that's okay. So I'm going to show you how to get the meatloaf out. I just take the meatloaf and just slide it out the pan, and then that parchment paper just slides right off. Good charm. So now I'm going to let the meatloaf cool off for about 10 minutes. I'm going to put some foil over it. Here's the meatloaf, and I did let it chill for about 15 minutes. And I wanted to show you guys, when you cut this meatloaf, use a serrated edge, because the serrated edge will grab onto the meatloaf as you slice it. If you use a regular knife and you try to slice it, it's just gonna make it fall apart. So see how beautiful the serrated knife works. So a serrated edge knife works perfect for slicing things like this. So I have a sample here. Well, I have my food here on the side. I served it with some mashed potatoes. And I used my Geek Chef pressure cooker. And then I made some mushroom gravy. So you have the recipes. You can find both of those in the description box. So you can see, of course, all those beautiful peppers and onions in the meatloaf. Let me just give you guys a close-up so you can see it. And the onions are just specks of onions. So here we go. Just a taste. Oh my god, it smells so good. Looks gorgeous. It's tender. I can tell that it's not dry, it's juicy. You see all those onions and peppers. Wow. Absolutely delicious. The mango glaze on top is sweet, a little bit tangy, and a little bit spicy. Perfect for this meatloaf with these mashed potatoes. Perfect meal. If you guys enjoyed this recipe, please add it to your playlist. Please share this video. I encourage you all, please share it as much as you can. And also, if you have any questions or comments, please leave that below. And please remember to live and be well. Let's come together as one and love each other. Thanks for watching.